T-minus 80 seconds. T-minus 70 seconds. T-minus 60 seconds. T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Hello, good evening, and welcome. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch this live stream about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Part 1. I was going to lower myself in, but the hooks came down, it was a mess. Yeah, my landlord's going to kill me. Right, okay, so yes, hello and welcome to the Outpost Frequencies. This is a special live stream because we are going to be reviewing, as I say, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. Now, myself and Matt have just got back from the cinema. In a nutshell, mate, one word, what would you say?
Cruise. Tom Cruise. There's two words. It's basically everything you'd expect.
That's exactly what I found. Now, we will be going through some spoilers, so I don't think we'll go into massively big spoilers. I'm going to try to keep some things under wrap, but we may be going through some spoilers.
There's
okay, big.
Yeah, I mean, give them a heads up, but there's not really too much to spoil, if I'm honest.
There's a few bits and pieces.
Yeah, but I don't think
we'll get to them.
Yeah,
we'll get to them. Like I say, we will warn you. So, you said Cruise. My word was excellent.
Yes.
I was highly looking forward to it. I was hyped up. As you might have seen on the website, I have just been reviewing all of 1 to 6. 7, I don't know whether it's better or worse, but it keeps that continuity of greatness going through the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah, it just fits it. I wouldn't say it was as good as Fallout.
I mean, I said I put it somewhere in the top 3, which I think is fair.
Yeah, listen, I think Fallout for me so far is the best of the bunch. But then I'm thinking that once you see part 2 and you can combine this into one 40-hour film, because it felt like it was about 4 hours long, I think this is going to be probably the best of the bunch.
Yeah, Maddox has just said there that MMI 1 is the best. I don't know if I agree with that. It is good, don't get me wrong. I think all of them have been consistently excellent.
Yeah,
but like I say, these 2 is a good action thriller, but not within the Mission Impossible universe. It goes too stylish, far too stylish. Is the thing. But okay, let's talk. Let's break down the story a little bit. So we start life off on a Russian submarine, they have an AI, which I'm going to call Skynet, pretty much, because I mean, it effectively was. But there's an AI which can help the submarine stay invisible and make decisions, calculated decisions. It needs 2 keys, which can then lock together to access this AI. In the opening sequence, which was brilliantly done, I thought it was very, very good. I do like a good submarine sequence. Basically, they think there's a
this
battleship.
is a spoiler.
Well, it's in the first 5 minutes. Not spoiling too much.
Okay.
But like I say, they think there's a cruiser off with their location, so they think that a missile's coming or a torpedo's coming towards them, but it's the computer that has tricked them into launching a torpedo with themselves, which end up blowing up the sub, and the sub sinks. So the keys now are free. You see the body floating to the surface, and the keys are free. So now the rest of the movie, to break it down in the best way, is they're looking for the 2 keys, but nobody's quite sure what the keys do and what they access. But it is in connection with this rogue then AI, which can access kind of any system on the planet. And it's apparently inserted itself into certain systems, but not done anything. It just seems to send a message saying, I can do this. Oh, sorry, just reading the comments as we're going.
You're so easily distracted.
No, I'm reading the comments. Clinging to the plane. That's number 5, I think it was, the one clinging to the plane. Because that's kind of how you remember them. I do hate the fact they don't number these anymore. So you had Mission Impossibles 1, 2 and 3, and then Ghost Protocol was 4, Rogue Nation was 5, and then Fallout was 6.
Fallout.
But they don't put numbers on them, they call them those names. So yeah, it's about like an evil AI, an evil Skynet, which they have to shut down, which they think this keys will have access to.
It'll have access to its basic code, won't it? Which they can
and they
get
can
in and shut it down.
Well, either they can shut it down or they can control it.
Yeah.
Obviously, because there's something to be said about controlling it, but you know, who can control Mission Impossible plane clinging. Yeah, that was the one. But yeah, who can control this kind of thing? So that's as much as I'm going to say about the story, because I mean, effectively, that is the main story. It does end on a cliffhanger, because obviously part 2 is on its way at some point in time. Mild annoyances with the film, nitpicky that I am.
No.
The opening sequence when they've got the CIA guys talking about this AI, and you had what's his name, Mark Gatiss was there, and that lady India something or other, I can't remember her name now. That sequence when everybody's talking kind of annoyed me, because it was kind of, I'm going to say something important, and now I'm going to say something important as well. Yeah, me too.
Yes, you did. That was that. I noticed that the one person couldn't get out the whole conversation. It was like someone would say 5 words, and then someone else would finish that, and it was just a little bit like
it was very scripted and scripted and set up. It was. It wasn't a bad thing, but it was just it did remind me very much of Mission Impossible 1 in the style that it was done, because Mission Impossible 1 had those kind of odd angles and close-ups and stuff, and it did remind me very much of that. And at first it annoyed me a little bit, but it wasn't terrible. Anyway, again, we're not going to go too much into the spoilers of what happens, but
Troll Prince has asked no spoilers, so I think we've got to be quite careful in this, because we're probably the first people to have seen it. So,
like I say, I think we can review it. I've done a review which should be up on the website ASAP.
Okay.
But with it, I've done it sort of spoiler list, so I kind of know how to steer the conversation, I think. And like I say,
I'll follow you.
So like I say, the basic story is the team have to find these keys. It turns out at the beginning that one half of the key has been gotten, what word is that? Has been found. One of them has been gotten by the girl. No, I can't think of her name now. Not Iris. Elsa.
Yes.
Yeah. Rebecca Ferguson has one
Yes.
half of the key. And so Ethan has to find her. That opening sequence where they're all on horseback in the desert, I did think John Wick 4.
I've not seen John Wick 4.
Oh, John Wick 4, it has the exact same opening where they're on
Oh,
horseback
okay.
going through the desert. And I was kind of a little bit close to the mark there. Ethan meets up with Rebecca, and everything's okay. Rebecca Ferguson has the key to my heart. Now, I would say that, but Ethan gets the key, and then he has to get the other half of this key. This is being transported through an airport in,
Abu Dhabi.
I want to say Berlin. Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Berlin, same thing.
Will be in about
Somewhere
20 years.
somewhere foreign. And he's going after the key, and it then gets pickpocketed by Hayley Atwell. Now, the first thing I have to say is how unbelievably gorgeous Hayley Atwell is.
Yeah, I never really rated her in them Marvel films, but I looked at it today and I was like, holy crap, where have you been?
Yeah, there was moments when she was on screen talking, and I'm just going, what did she say? There's what? Honestly, she is stunning in this. Absolutely stunning. It seems that she has been sent to get this half of the key by someone. We're not quite sure who. There's a whole good sequence because the CIA turn up because they're there to arrest Ethan Hunt. Blah blah blah. And it's a very clever way that they use AI to trick the CIA, which I won't say, but it was good. It was good. She ends up escaping and ends up in Rome, where Ethan beats her there and gets her arrested so that he can get the key off her. We are then introduced to, there was a bit of a flashback earlier on, but we are introduced to a guy called Gabriel, who actor I cannot remember the name of. That's bad, isn't it? Hang on, let me look this up. The actor, because it was kind of a shame that Gabriel wasn't somebody a bit bigger.
Well, we don't know too much, do we? So,
No, it's like a bigger actor. That's what I meant.
oh, okay.
It's not somebody I've. He's been in Bad Boys, was he? Oh, right, okay. His name is Isaiah Morales.
I think he was in 24. I think he was Kiefer Sutherland's right-hand man in 24. And I
Okay.
think he was also in the Battlestar Galactica prequel called Steel Robots or something. I don't know. So
I'm
he's
just
one of them.
having a look and-
He's one of them faces that always props up, but not as a major character.
And you sort of go, oh, it's what's it? I've seen him. What have I seen him
Yeah.
in? He's
that's it.
one of those people. But yeah, it turns out that he killed somebody that Ethan possibly loved 30 odd years ago, before the first Mission Impossible, and he's now kind of the key, like one of the bad guys as well. There's like several bad guys in this film. You've got the CIA after Ethan, you've got Gabriel after Ethan, and it also turns out, who else was it? Oh, Vanessa Kirby is back as Max's daughter. And so, like I say, there's quite a lot of people that are kind of, after this key and everything else.
Yeah.
I did think bringing back a lot of the people was done well because it wasn't member berries.
Yeah, I can only really think of one person that come back from past.
I liked it. Like I say, I thought that they were good because it wasn't, like I say, I thought it was done as member berries. I thought it was very well done. So I
Yeah,
thought it was
But
good.
you've got the four. You've got Ethan and his Mission Impossible team. You've got Gabriel and his team. Were they CIA? I thought they were another part of the IMF.
No, they were working. No, because they were working for Kittredge, and I always thought he was CIA as well.
Oh, okay. So he's CIA. So you've got them three. And then obviously the English bird with the blonde hair you just mentioned, I can't remember, Kirby. So you've got all these, you've got these, you basically got these 4 teams all racing to get the key and all fighting off. I mean, some great action scenes. There really is.
Well, we come to Rome where this was great. And this is where I'm going to say not a spoiler, but we get to Rome, which was, like I say, fantastic. There's a scene where she escapes from the prison. There's a whole commentary there on women drivers.
Yeah.
I really laughed at that. Basically, you never want Hayley Atwell near your car.
No.
Ever.
But do you know what, though, Phil? Wasn't it refreshing that her character wasn't fucking brilliant at everything, that she was shit at driving?
Yeah.
She got beaten up and thrown about all the time. She was completely out of her depth. And there wasn't one situation where she was like, I've already got the answer to this.
Yeah.
She was a damsel in distress, and it was done so well. It was refreshing.
You really felt for her. You really, at times, you were, emotionally invested because you're thinking she's putting her life on the line for these guys, and like you say, she is completely vulnerable. She's not brilliant at everything. It was a female character, well done, which is unusual because it was written by a man.
It was a female character who was allowed to be a female and not act like a man.
Suffer Disney. Yeah, hopefully, I think this film will do very well because it was this whole sequence in Rome. They end up in a couple of cars, they end up in a shootout, and they end up in a supercar. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
And the whole sequence, the audience, I had about a half-packed cinema today, about 1:30. Everybody laughed though, because it was so nice the way it was done, and it was. I won't spoil anything, but that whole action sequence was fantastic. You know, you really felt the cars revving, the wheels skidding and stuff. It was great.
And then the other thing, Phil, as well, is you talk about the humour. It wasn't that forced Marvel humour that took you out the moment. It was action packed, and there was snippets, a comment or a look. And it wasn't some horrible false bullshit like I've just watched in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was good.
There was no places, like you say, where it was completely forced and just looked ridiculous. It was just gentle little moments of comedy which were inserted at the right moments. But you also got introduced to Pom Klementieff, who plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. She is, again, oh dear, that's the way I want to die. By her character.
Really?
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I went with my son to see it, and I was talking about that Atwell woman, and he said, he'd rather have Pom, and I was like, she's pretty, but she always looks like she smells of sweat.
Well, that just means she needs a good shower. And a good rub down. So yeah, her character, I must admit, I thought was quite muted, because she's obviously an assassin who's out to get this key as well, and it looks like kill Ethan. And I must admit, her character arc, it didn't play out as I was expected. And that's, like I say, not going into spoilers, but like I say, it just didn't sort of pan out as I expected. Not in a bad way, but, she was good, and there was probably more to her character. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
But again, it was good that she wasn't another Mary Sue. She was handled well. She, there was instances where she could hold her own against certain people, and there was other instances where she was clearly physically outmatched, and she'd end up with a right-hander. It was good.
Yeah, but her character sort of pops up every now and then. She is quite brutal and quite.
She's
scary.
Great. She's relentless. Yeah, she's relentless.
Yeah, which is good. We then go on to find that, I'm just trying to think, after Rome, the whole sequence ends on a train. This is another thing that annoyed me, but we'll come back to that. But the whole sequence ends on a train. It turns out that Vanessa Kirby's character, whose name, she plays Max's daughter from Max was in the original. Max was the original arms broker in the original Mission Impossible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's her daughter, the White Widow. She's
White
got another
Widow,
name,
yeah.
but yeah, she plays the White Widow, who came in Rogue Nation, I think it was.
Yeah.
She wants the key because she wants to sell it to the highest bidder as well, and so forth, and blah blah blah. So they're all going to end up on a train, and that's sort of where the climatic end happens. A couple of things that annoyed me about this was, one, it took Tom ages to get on the train. It kind of annoyed me because it was kind of like all the action's going on the train, and yet he's not on there.
Right.
But how he gets on the train is 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things that again annoyed me about the situation was that obviously, you know, if you got to have been living under a rock to have appreciated the stunt that Tom Cruise did driving the bike off the cliff or off the ramp.
Hence the background on our channel.
There's Tom and the bike's just under Matt. Look.
There you go.
But you've seen that stunt, and so it just took the edge off a little bit.
Oh, you see, I've not watched that video.
You must have done. We posted it ages ago.
No, I refused to watch it. I didn't want to. I like to think it's all. But you know what? Just a slight detour. This goes back to what we was talking about with Indiana Jones the other week. Is that there's a mix of good practical effects and CGI is used in the correct way.
Absolutely.
And this is what the difference is. We're saying CGI used properly to enhance the thing is a good tool to use. But when it's just CGI, your brain just goes, look, this isn't, I'm not invested in this.
I mean, the way they did it in this movie is, obviously Tom's on a ramp when he jumps off in real life, but they CG in moorland, rocks, grass, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the shot shows Tom Cruise's face as it goes down the ramp and then follows him off the cliff, and in one go. And for me, in my audience, everybody kind of went,
oh wow,
as it just goes quiet, because there's I think there's a musical build up to it, but as he goes off, it just goes dead silent, and you could hear a pin drop in the audience because everybody's just like, just, it's so well done. It's so well done.
Yeah, it is good. And Gigantic Kahuna said on the website, because I'm watching the website comments as well.
Okay.
He says, what level of game are we talking? A plus, A double plus, and in your opinion, how were the phones? Non-existent, completely not in evidence, or what's a phone? I would say non-existent.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, that him doing it, what got me is, again, I was being overly critical when it came to Indiana Jones because I was looking at in Dial of Destiny, I was looking at the CG and thinking it's just not that great. In this, though, you can see Tom's face as that bike starts that run, and you can see in his face going, I mean, okay, he's done it 100 times before, but he is still sort of going, right, okay, I can do this.
It's genuine.
Yeah, there's a genuine bit of fear there because I mean, the guy is risking his life. You know, I know there's wires and everything else, but he's, you know, if something goes wrong, he's in big trouble. Big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. So we someone called Ack, which is a Martian. You know, the Mars attacks.
Yeah.
Has put no spoilers, proceeds to run down whole movie playbook, but not really. We've only really discussed the things that you would have seen in trailers.
Yeah, we're not
giving away any plot points. It's all pretty much there.
You know, there's an action sequence in Rome. There's an action sequence on a train. That's kind of all we're saying. I will say the actual ending on the train was fantastic. When Tom gets onto the train, apart from, again, I'm not spoiling anything, but there is one moment which kind of just let it down. And I don't know if you're thinking of what you're thinking of is that moment where a certain guy gets away.
No. Yeah, I do. But again, this goes back to what I was saying about the Indiana Jones thing. Sometimes you just need to sit back and just go, I've just seen some fucking geezer jump off a cliff on a motorbike and parachute and land on a train. You know, I'm going to get elements
that,
of
though,
sometimes
because I've seen people base jump, so I can believe that. So but like I say, there is just one moment which just took me out, and I kind of scoffed at it a little bit. But overall, that whole end sequence was fantastically dramatic. It's really, really, really well done.
The whole film is completely dramatic. It's relentless, but not in a shit way. Not in a and then we're going to go and do this. You know, there's sprinklings of talking like you always get with Mission Impossible, where they're working out a plan to get something. Yeah, exactly that. But the action scenes are just gripping. You're just on the edge. Unless you're the fucking idiot who's sitting 2 rows in front of me who decided to check his WhatsApp messages.
Oh, I
honestly,
want to go.
Fucking backhand him.
I've got on my phone. I've got a double tap for like a really bright light, and I just want to go down in front of them and go with the light on. Just so annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's relentless, but in a good way, in a way where you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, like here we go.
No, the funny thing is, I actually thought, I said in my review when it goes up, is I thought the film was actually quite at 50-50, that there are moments where it calms down and gives you a chance to breathe because the action sequences are so epically good. I mean, they are fantastic. It gives you a chance to just sit down and breathe and sort of soak up the... What's the word? The whole bit...
To process what's just happened.
Thank you.
There you go.
There's a whole bit with Ving Rhames, and again, not going into spoilers, but he gets quite emotional, and I actually really like that because it did really calm you down a bit. And then the end sequence, I was literally in my seat going, like in places, because it was like, you know, you're actually sort of like moving with the action and the camera and stuff. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's very well done. It's everything you would expect from a Mission Impossible film. It's everything you'd expect from a Tom Cruise film. And I mean, this is going to be obviously you've got part 2. This is going to be the last ones, though, isn't it? These are the swan song. I know because we're not going to do spoilers, so perhaps we'll chat off air. But I'll tell you where I think it's going to go in 2. Okay. But I won't do it here because we don't want to give anything away.
It does. All I will say is it does end on a cliffhanger. So, you know, the end of the movie, it sets up part 2 brilliantly. I mean, it's almost as brilliant as the end of Matrix Part 2, where it kind of cuts to that other guy who's Agent Smith in the real world, and then it cuts, kind of thing. There's just, like I say, there's a satisfying ending to this movie, which sets up part 2 to look forward to.
I will say that it's not dramatic. It's not a cut like you got in June, where you like it just ends. And you're like, oh, fuck it, I could have done with another hour. This ends, it's a satisfying end. It is a cliffhanger, but you're not sitting there going, fucking hell, well, I've got to wait another year for the fight. Like, it ends nicely, and it gives you time to wait for the next one, which is, what, 2014? It's about a year away, is it? Let me look while we're talking. I'll have a look.
Damn it. The best action sequence in the last couple of decades might be the motorcycle driver in Fury Road driving under the rig to grab Furiosa. This, to me, I was trying to think of what other action movies I could compare this to. And this year, I can't really compare it to anything. I want to say possibly John Wick 4, but I felt John Wick 4 was a bit too drawn out. I'm still saying that the whole bit of the stairs sequence was just too long, where there was none of that in there. There were moments when I was watching the film and thinking to myself, this is the best action film I've seen in ages. This is just the best action film. No, this Mission Impossible.
This one?
Dead Reckoning. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were moments where it was just fantastic. Yeah, Mannix just said John Wick 4 is now Tom and Jerry level of action. And that's kind of the problem with it. It's gone a bit too over the top. Mission Impossible is still grounded in that reality. Of everything that you could actually believe could take place.
Yes, and Big Gator's just asked which did the cliffhanger better, Fast and Furious or Mission Impossible? I've not seen Fast and Furious. I've never seen a Fast and Furious. I never will. They are literally fucking brain.
Oh no! Right, I know what you mean.
So I don't know what
he means. Fast X. No. The end. I mean, again, Fast X was just it's Tom and Jerry level entertainment. I liked it. and I was entertained, but it was bloody stupid. Whereas, I don't know. I mean,
how does Fast
I've
X?
heard it ends on a dam. On a dam, right? Dom turns up in the middle of the dam with his kid. Two trucks
Who's
turn
Dom?
up at the same.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, yeah,
Right.
head of the family. Two trucks turn up, gas trucks. Just as the team turn up, what's his name? Jason Momoa's character kills them all. Well, you think he's killed them all. I'm sure they've all survived. But he drives the two trucks towards each other, and as they blow up, Dom drives off the dam, down the dam, and sort of drives off into the distance, and he's okay. And then Jason Momoa's character blows up the dam, and it kind of, as the water's coming down, Dom and his son are going, and then it cuts to the end.
Load of shit.
It is. It's stupid. It's utterly stupid. Utterly stupid. But like I say, I still find it entertaining because I'm a brainless idiot.
So, in answer to your question, in the cliffhanger bit, by the sound of things, Mission Impossible did a better cliffhanger.
No, he's just said there, I'm not asking about which was better. I am asking about the cliffhanger. Hang on.
Well, we can't tell you.
From Mission Impossible. Yeah, no, we're not going to say. It just ends on a very satisfying cliffhanger. Not like a Italian Job cliffhanger.
No,
I've got an idea. It just ends and sets up part 2 very nicely. Is all we're going to say. That's the easiest way of doing it. Yeah, Big K, you did ask which was better, cliffhanger, and they answered, yeah, thank you.
now I'm
Please
confused.
don't argue on our live stream. But yeah, I mean, like I say, I was thoroughly entertained from beginning to end. I enjoyed every minute of it. I was quite happy to stay and watch the end credits roll and everything else with a couple of other nerds. And
Was there anything at the end?
No. No.
I'm surprised they didn't do a little teaser for
Aliens.
number 2.
Aliens came down in UFOs. Oh,
I'm surprised they didn't do a little teaser for 2, like Back to the Future 2 did. They gave you like a little 30-second teaser trailer, didn't they?
Am I right in saying that they shot these back to back?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's out June next year, so you've got a year to wait.
Because if they have, you dealt with, I know the train, I remember covering the train story because I read it somewhere else and we put it up on the website, the whole train story. So, yes, there is a moment with the train in there and the bike stunt, but I hope they don't tease any of the other stunts that they're now going to do for Dead Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah,
I kind of want to stay away from everything.
Yeah, I've kept away from it. I don't like any. I like watching behind the scenes once I've seen the movie, not before.
Yeah.
Because it ruins the magic.
I'm just looking through some of the comments here. Napoleon trailer. Thank you, idiot.
Who said that?
Junior Disprin. We got it up. It's an article now, all right. We
was quick with that.
We're only human. I mean, again, where would you rate this in the Mission Impossible movies?
I think in order, I really liked Fallout. I watched it the other night. It was a lot better than I remember it being. So I think I'd go Fallout first. Thing is, it's really difficult because I think they're all good apart from 2, and I really liked number 3. I know a lot of people slag off JJ, but I really liked number 3.
It's got his style on it, and to me, it's a bit over stylish. I think I said that 1, 2, and 3 are very kind of comic book movies, whereas then 4, 5, and 6 settle down into like a spy action thrillers based in a reality.
I think
sort of
out of the 7, with 2 being obviously the worst one, I don't know. I think I might even put this down at like my 4th favourite. And I'm not saying it's because it's a bad film. It's just because I liked the other one so much.
This is the thing: is I moan about franchises all the time and how franchises go on and on and on and get worse and worse and worse. You know, in the end, you had Jason 10, which was Jason Voorhees in space. You know, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
This, though, yeah, hang on, I'll come back to the comic book movie bit. This series, though, has consistently kept up a very high standard all the way through,
yes.
which is why it's very difficult to distinguish them. There are some movies where Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever, like, you know, kind of the first one's great and the third one's okay, but the second one's a bit weak, the fourth one, you know, and there's you can pick all of these. You can quite happily sit down and watch all of them and be thoroughly entertained by solid action.
Yeah. See, I really like.
Right.
I like 4, 5, and 6 because they're like a trilogy, aren't they? With the
well,
four's leading up to the Apostles, and obviously which you eventually see in 6. But I liked them because they've done a Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 where it was like a little trilogy within a set. And plus, who's the actor? Who was Solomon in the Mission Impossible? Because he's the bloke with a funny, squeaky little voice. He's so good.
Kittredge.
No. Hold on. I'll Google him. Go on.
Right. I'm just going to come back to one is a comic book movie. I say that because the style of it is so much. There's so much style in there, and there's so many sort of like other Dutch angles, like the old Batman movies and stuff, or the Adam West Batmans. I mean, so yeah, I kind of consider it. It's more close to a comic book movie than it is to like a live action movie. Live action movie as opposed to an animated. Yeah. The first one is very stylish. You got those deep shots where you've got somebody in focus and then somebody else is in focus in the back, and it was very Brian De Palma. And so yeah, I kind of consider it, like I say, I want to say like a comic book movie because it's not based like in a reality. It's based in a comic book.
Do you not think that was just the style of movies back in the 90s? I mean, when was that one out? That must have been late 90s, wasn't it? Mission Impossible 1?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's more Brian De Palma. Because, I mean, the movie itself is very, very Brian De Palma. I'm a big fan of Brian De Palma, and his style is very much like that.
Yeah.
No, just no. No, see, I disagree with it. I think it was. 1, 2, and 3 are very much set. Like I say, they're similar to comic book movies, whereas 4, 5, and 6 grounded themselves into a reality where, you know, nuclear missiles could go off at any moment, but the guys stop them.
Yeah, governments and everything else. Yeah. The guy I'm thinking of is Sean Harris, Solomon Lane, in 4, 5. I think he was particularly in 5 and 6, wasn't he?
Yes.
Definitely. He is excellent.
A little thing I noticed in 5 the other day is when Tom Cruise goes into the record shop to get his next mission.
Yeah.
As he walks in, you see Sean Hughes in one of the booths listening to some music.
Sean Harris. Oh, do you? Oh no, look at that.
Yeah, I know. I was watching it the other day and looking at it and going, "Huh, it's Sean Harris." Oh yeah, of course. That was pretty good.
He's brilliant in them. He really is. And I mean, it's not a spoiler, but he's not dead in Mission Impossible Fallout. So if this is Mission Impossible, if this is the swan song, I would like to see an appearance by him at some stage.
Because
he was really intimidating without being. He was like a traditional bad guy. He was softly spoken and menacing and pretty much ruthless, evil, without being evil. A caricature. Yeah. I like the bit in Fallout when he's with Simon Pegg, who's Benji, and Simon Pegg goes, you know, it could be worse. You could be strapping a bomb to someone's neck, and he just looks at him. He goes, "It's unfinished business, my funny little friend." And you'd be like, "Oh, you fucking horrible bastard."
Steve R is going on about the length of movies. Again, I'm the same. 90 minutes is enough for me, and
that's too short.
No, it depends on what you put in there. I will say, this movie is long. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is 2 hours 43 minutes, but the time did go quickly and it went well.
Yeah, you're not bored for that entire time.
No, not at all.
I like a 3-hour movie. I like a film that takes its time to get into. 90 minutes. At 90 minutes, I'm like, oh, what was the point? It was like a TV show. I like a 3-hour movie. I'm not going to lie.
No, like I say, I prefer. miss the days of the 90-minute movie myself, but Dead Reckoning does a solid job at keeping you gripped all the way through.
Yep,
all the
absolutely.
way through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very good. And as Steve R also said, from the trailers, looks like they took another trick from James Bond, this time for your eyes only car chase.
No.
No.
Right.
No, he's put that in the comments.
No. But what I'm saying is don't spoil that.
No. I'm not going to
spoil
spoil
happens,
it. No.
If you don't know what happens, it's amusing. But yes, I think I read an interview somewhere that they said it was a homage to that Roger Moore Bond.
It reminded me of the car chase in Bourne as well. Was it the Bourne Supremacy? When he done the little car chase going through the streets of France, I think that was in.
See, I can't remember that.
So it was like that. It was relentless, but without it being ridiculous.
Yes, and like I say, there were again a couple of little moments of humour which just added to it. Didn't take anything away. They were nicely inserted and stuff, and just I can't wait to see it again. I'd quite happily go back to the cinema and see it again.
Hayley Atwell, wait, what?
She is. Hang on. Let me just. I think I might have deleted it, but I did make this picture.
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to put up a picture of Hayley Atwell, and I couldn't find anything decent, but I did find one with Tom Cruise in it, and I thought, right, I'm not putting his face in it, so I put this in instead.
Very well done, sir. Very well done.
Yeah, no, we've been friends for a long time. I'm making that face because she's actually pinching my ass.
I was going to say she's touching your bollocks.
Hey. But yeah, again, all the women in this are incredibly well written, very well done. They all have a good story arc all the way through them. And like you say, some of them, all of them really just aren't perfect. You know, that they are vulnerable.
None of them are.
Hayley Atwell's character in this is very vulnerable in places, and you actually, like I say, you really feel for her. But yeah, it's very, very good. Yeah. Oh, Steve R's Renage.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say that because I didn't know if he was going under an alias. But yes, he's. What is Renage or Renage or what is that? Steve, tell us what.
What's your name about?
Because I know your character on your little avatar on the website is like someone in a funny suit. Well, I have no idea what that is. Let me know. Yeah,
so it's difficult to rate this Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in the Mission Impossible movies because they have been consistently very, very good movies. And this one, I can't say it's any better than others, and I can't say it's any worse than others, apart from two. It's just an excellent movie. It's fantastic.
Listen, you pay your money. It's Mission Impossible. It's Tom Cruise. It's everything it says it's going to be. It's stunts. It's action. It's relentless. I am getting a bit tired of the whole. I am getting a bit tired of the whole fucking mask thing. But there was a couple of nice little nods to the ridiculousness of that. So it sort of took the piss out of itself a little bit.
Although conversely, I will say that it's still not overly done. I do know what you mean. That, like I say, it's kind of a trope that they've used throughout all the movies now.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, it's not overly done.
I know you can't watch a Mission Impossible film without someone putting a mask on. I just think, like, mind you saying that, look at Joe Biden. He's got about 5 different faces. That fucking old thing. So it's completely plausible. But yeah, that's my little gripe about the masks.
If you've enjoyed the other Mission Impossible movies, you will enjoy this new one. And it is one of those things that is a cinema experience.
Yeah, I did think it was. I thought there was quite a lot of elements about James Bond. You can see James Bond inspiration with regards to maybe sets and locations. There was some James Bond's very famous for its sets and its extravagant locations. There was a lot of that in this. I thought this time there's a lot of aerial shots. There was it was shot in some really beautiful places.
Remind me afterwards to tell you of a plot detail which I really liked about the sets, but it's a spoiler involved, so I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
but,
Oh, I've got a nice
there's
little tidbit of information as well. It's not a spoiler because everyone's seen the trailers. You know, there's Jessica, what's her name? Rebecca Ferguson. She's got an eye patch on with the sniper.
Yeah.
Now, I'd read that some snipers actually do that because it's easier than just keeping your eyes shut, so you just have a patch. It actually turns out, my son was telling me, Rebecca Ferguson apparently can't wink. She can't wink, so they had to put an eye patch on her.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Fair enough.
Useless information for the day.
She is lovely, Rebecca Ferguson. Oh, dear. Oh, no, come on. What's the matter with you, man? She is lovely.
She's all right. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's better. She's Swedish as well. I thought she was English.
Oh, I always thought she was English. I didn't realise it.
Yeah, she's Swedish. I Googled her.
I bet you did.
So all in all, Mission Impossible, it's worth the money. I know someone mentioned earlier about they're not going to go and pay to see it, which is fine. But I think we do need to draw a line in the sand and reward these films and these franchises that are willing to put a good effort in and entertain us, as opposed to the shit. I can understand not paying to see Star Wars or anything that Lucasfilm or Marvel producing at the moment because it is utter shit and they are taking the piss. But I think you've got to, for films like this where they do go all in and they do come to entertain you and they don't preach you, there's no wokeness in it, there's no ridiculous lectures about gays or blacks or anything. Everyone just gets on with it. I think we all need to start rewarding that by parting with some of our hard-earned, because if we don't, then, it's already been said that Tom Cruise is probably the last action hero anyway. So if we don't, it's going to get to a point where we're like, and you can end up with films like Fast and the Furious 567, or, I don't know about your cinema, the trailers that we saw before Mission Impossible, apart from Oppenheimer, was Meg 2 and Expendables 9 or whatever it was. And I was just sitting there, I was thinking, this is just utter shit. And until we stop giving those people money and rewarding people like Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible money, then unfortunately you're always going to get, 97 sequels that are just a CGI fest that some little nerd is at home making on his computer and just putting Vin Diesel's face in it at the end of a green screen session. So, yeah, that's my fucking soapbox.
I really hope that this movie does well. When you see how Dial of Destiny is bombing so hard, it's really nice and rewarding to see a movie like this do well because it's just well made.
Yes. It is. I'm just wondering what the overall. I know we don't really take Rotten Tomatoes too seriously, but unfortunately, they're still the barometer of what we need to judge things by. I'm on
the IMDb, and on the IMDb, it's at the moment it's got a score of 8.2 out of 10.
Well, that's good. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics, if you want to call them that, are 98%. So that's quite interesting. So there's no audience score just yet, but I think I would give it a solid 4.5 out of 5. That's exactly what I gave it.
Yeah. The review that I did, 4.5, because it's a solid action movie. I was entertained. I laughed. I was thrilled. It was great action. There's lovely tossing in it.
Great. Yeah. I do want to say one thing. I know I gave Indiana Jones a 3.5, but after watching Mission Impossible, I'm going to reduce my Indiana Jones down to a 3 out of 5.
Fair enough. It's nice that you're coming to your senses. Well done.
I still enjoyed the film. I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people were saying, but I just think when you see this and you see how they use CGI with practical effects and some of the action scenes, you're like, well, actually, I was a bit generous with Indiana Jones 3.5. Give it a 3.
This to me has been the best action movie I've seen this year. Head and shoulders, I'd actually say. Let's even compare it to John Wick 4. Yeah, this year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm trying to think what I've seen.
the only other big action movie that I'm looking forward to seeing, I mean, like I say, Oppenheimer I want to see, but I mean, the big action movie that I'm looking forward to seeing is Dune 2 this year. That's kind of the only thing that might beat it. But this is basically another Top Gun Maverick.
I wouldn't say it was that good.
What I mean is it's solid entertainment. It's thoroughly entertaining. You know, like I say, there's great stunts. Okay, yeah, there's probably some green screen in there and whatnot and everything else. But overall, the movie is it was pure entertainment. Pure entertainment.
Yeah. Good fun. It was good fun. Go and see it.
Righty-ho. Where's our banners? Well, like I say, thank you for joining us for this review. Hopefully spoiler-free.
It was difficult, wasn't it? Because you can't talk about spoilers, and even there's a lot more we can. I'll tell you what. Perhaps we'll do one once. Get this weekend out of the way.
Yeah.
And perhaps we can do it on Sunday and maybe talk about it on Sunday with spoilers.
Exactly. So, like I say, hope we haven't spoiled too much. Like I say, we went over the basics or plot of the movie and stuff. But like I say, there is so much more to there to go and see. And both of us think you'll be thoroughly entertained if you do go to see it at the cinema. It's well worth the visit. I kind of wish I'd seen it with a bigger audience because I think it probably would have been actually slightly better. Because like I say, there was a good when the jokes kicked in, there were a good few laughs and there were a good few moments where you could hear people going. Like, you know, at the stunts and stuff. So,
but to be fair, Phil, it's only come out. It's only come out today, and you know, you saw it at 1 o'clock.
It's not technically out till Friday.
Oh, okay. Well, you saw it at 1 o'clock today. I saw it at 3.
Yeah.
So we both sort of skipped work to go and see it. So it wasn't to be expected. It wasn't going to be that busy.
Yeah,
mine was actually quite busy. Mine was at least half full, which I was surprised at.
Oh,
when I went to see Indiana Jones, there's probably about 10 other people in now, so this one doesn't too bad considering.
I was the same. But yeah, like I say, so that's our review of Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, which they have to drag out these names for. My goodness. Other than that, make sure you visit us at thelastmovieoutpost.com for all of your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram and blah 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 and everything else. He's Matt Aguirre. Are you shadow banned on Twitter, by the way?
No, I deleted my. Well, I got one account banned, permanently banned.
No, but the other one, I was trying to tag you, and I had to like put in the full name before I did it. I think you're shadow banned.
Yeah, no, I think I'm Eggy Matt now.
Oh,
I've just not told you and updated this.
Oh, we'll have to change the one down here then. Well, that one's wrong.
Yeah.
Don't read that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
but,
don't follow me anyway.
Yeah, to be fair, not unless you've got a but like I say, thank you for everybody, and we will see you on the next live stream.